Alrighty. A lot of you Americans probably wouldn't have watched my How to Fix Your Vaccine Passport video. But I want to talk to you down here in the land of Dictator Dan. How they've flipped the script on this bloody vaccine passport thing to make it a positive incentive, and now they've flipped the script and it's like you can't live life without one. And we've gone from you can have extra perks to this is 1930s Germany in about 2 months. It's just incredible. Now, this rotten mongrel could only ever understand negative incentive, and he would keep saying people have got to get the vaccine, that was his only line. You know, we're never going to get out of lockdown until you guys get the vaccine. And people said, well, this is unfair. We should be able to, if we get the vaccine, get special treatments and privileges. And so New South Wales said they were going to do that 3 weeks beforehand. So it might have even been 4 weeks. On the 4th or 5th week or 6th week or something like this, the media started pushing Dan, why can't we have extra privileges when we're vaccinated instead of not having privileges and, you know, like extra freedoms. They basically said that, you know, we should be doing what New South Wales does, where people have an incentive to get vaccinated and you can do certain things, and when you're vaccinated, then it's like, well, you're not going to spread this thing and whatever, but, you know, somehow this is the only time there's been a vaccine where you can get vaccinated and you can still catch it and you can still spread it. So what was the entire point of having a vaccine if you're still catching it and you're still spreading it? That's going to be the first vaccine in the world where you still catch it and you still spread it after you're vaccinated. But anyway, they said if you're not going to be transferring it and you've done the right thing, why should you be punished and still be under lockdowns? Because this sod still wanted people under lockdowns even when they're vaccinated. And New South Wales said, well, you know, if you're vaccinated, you'll get the privilege to do things that non-vaccinated people haven't got. And so after weeks of that being the case in New South Wales, more than probably a week and a half of pushing by media every day down here, he finally said, look, we will do it. So then they set this system up. And when you get this is your passport to freedom, blah, blah, blah. Except the thing is as glitchy as hell to even get to install. You've got to have an internet browser and your email open at the same time, and possibly even the app as well, or have the ability to start the app up. When you try and install this, you go onto a website, you need an account for this health website that then gives you a new password for every time you try to enter that you've got to get out of your email, and sometimes they can text it to your phone, and then you've got to use that to enter, but that's a once only enter and you get another code every bloody time. But you've got to put your account name and your passport to even get this entry code that you need to refresh every single time you enter this website. When you finally get in there, you go through all the shit they want to know, every detail, including the date of birth of people who are on the same Medicare card as you and everything. It's very complicated stuff. You need everybody's dates of births and just even not just yours, but other people on the same card. Very complicated stuff. You finally get through to the end of it and you get in there and it says get ready to load it. You go to click load and it will always every time tell you that it hasn't loaded. Guaranteed. It actually has. But then you can say go ahead and start the app and bang, you'll start it and you'll find it's... Or you can say retry. So boomers sit there going retry. Sorry, it hasn't loaded. Retry. Sorry, it hasn't loaded. They spin around for hours like that. So regardless of the fact it's glitchy as hell, if you do get it to work, now you can go out to restaurants and clubs and bars like the ad told me. But there's a little secret to all this, because businesses are now being told, well, you've got to have a limit of the amount of people in your store. So no business wants to have any limits. They want to have as many people as they can in the store, don't they? Yes. Big department stores, hardware chains, all these places, they want as many people as they can in the store. So they don't have the old thing where you used to have a person limit written on a bit of paper in the front window. No! What they've now got is you need a vaccine passport for every bloody store because they want to have as many people in that store as they can possibly have. So everybody... The only thing you can't do anything, pretty much, except buy food and buy fuel. I went to the auto parts store to get a little cup full of coolant, so I bought 1 litre of coolant for the van because it's taken 200 ml, which is less than a coffee mug, over 9 months or a year. And I needed a vaccine passport to enter a place that had about 6 or 7 people in it, and you go down to the supermarket and there's 40 people there and it's not an issue. But you need a vaccine passport because there's 5 people in the store. Then I went to the hardware store to get a bit of pesticide for these almond trees and to help some of these smaller plum trees that are getting eaten by certain insects. And I needed a vaccine passport to get in. Then I went and got some more shirts because, surprise, surprise, I seem to be getting a little short on my yellow shirts. And I needed a vaccine passport to buy shirts. See, they've flipped the script by saying this will give you special privileges, but then stores are faced with the option of limit the amount of customers or force every customer to have a vaccine passport, and you can have as many customers as you want. So they've all forced vaccine passports on everybody to enter. So they have a person sitting at the front and nobody can get in without a vaccine passport. Now it covers all shops. Pretty much all shops. Except food and fuel, and that's it. They've flipped the script on us the same way that the Soviets used to say, well, you can earn a heap of money by going down coal mines because coal mines are a real hard job, so people would go to these harder jobs because they would earn more than the standardised rate for being in a factory above ground. Only to then find that they'd restricted the supply of products. So you can earn as much as you want, but there's nothing in the shop to buy. Just like the Soviets pulled that shit. Now you got a vaccine passport. Now you can do everything. Oh, but guess what? We're going to tell shops that they've got 2 options. You've got a limit on the amount of customers you can have, and they're all going to say, oh, stuff that. We don't want to have a customer number limit. We want to have as many people as we can in the store. So then they all have vaccine passports as a requirement to enter their store so they can have an uncapped total number of people in the store. And they set you free, they give you what you want, but then they strangle the other side just like the Soviets did with the supply and demand. Bloody bastards.